Hello guys and welcome to a new video. This time we will be talking about braking. So this is the second episode of my Gran Turismo driving school and I think it will be good. So braking is quite an important part of all racing, I mean in GT Sport especially. So yeah, let's go guys. So braking balance is the first thing we're gonna be talking about. I will show you a few examples with the FR cars, MR cars and FF cars. So how to use braking balance and where to use it and what for. And next thing we'll be talking about is trail braking. So trail braking is a huge part of racing, especially in the sim racing. So yeah, without further ado, let's get going. Okay, now we got Lamborghini Huracan GT3 with braking bias set to -5. As you can see on the screen, I'm slowing down this footage. The car is simply not getting the rotation that it needs to kind of take this one at much higher speed. So I did this example because it's a downhill section. It's really easy to lose control there, and in some occasions I think it's maybe one of the best corners just try to demonstrate braking balance and all of that other stuff. The other example is made with the same car, but I set the braking balance at +5, so it's significantly more to the back of the car, and you will see what I was doing in here. I was really struggling to keep up with the car in this downhill section. You see me, yeah. Look at, I'm really fighting the car, so just trying to stay on the road much harder. This car is super hard to control while you have your braking balance at 5, and you can see me here really fighting with the car, no traction whatsoever. I lose the back end all the time, and yeah, that was about it, the demonstration between -5 and +5. So let's go make a comparison about that. And now on the left we have the braking bias at -5, and on the right hand side we have at +5. So the difference is pretty huge, as you can see on the screen. The differences between really fighting with the car and all of that other stuff are so significant when it comes to, for example, here braking. I almost lost the car when I had braking bias at +5. So the downhill section really cost me a lot of time. And on the left hand side it's I had a bit more traction, but just the rotation wasn't enough to keep the car going. So I would perfectly, if you wanna set the perfect braking bias for a Lamborghini Huracan, I think it's around -1 or maybe -2 to 0. I think that's kind of a sweet spot for Lamborghini Huracan. As we go to our next example, while using the V12 Vantage in Group 3. So at left we have -5, and on the right we have +5. At the left we experience much more significant understeer, especially with this car. Front engine cars have a tendency kind of get a little bit more understeer than other ones, but I guess it's yeah, it's meant to be so. And with the +5 I get that additional rotation that I need, and I can push the car much faster around the corner. As you can see on the screen, I was much further up the road, and ideally in I think with the V12 Vantage you can use +2 or maybe +3 just to kind of hug the inside of the curbs, get much faster speeds around the corners other than -5. So the car is super stable, but it really lacks that kind of rotation that you get out of the turns. So plus with the FR cars helps you get better lap times, not using the minus. I think it's best this way. In MR cars, of course, we have this little table, so just keep that in mind. MR cars are really oversteery, so keep them in minus, so bring the braking balance into minus. And usually with the Audi or let's say a Lamborghini, you can maybe use -2 or maybe -3 up to 0. It depends on your kind of your personal preference. With the FR cars, as I was saying, +2, +3, keep them always in plus. And with the FF cars, +5, I think it's a must in this game, and I think it's you will get much better lap times with +5 than others. And now we're gonna be talking about trail braking. For this instance I will use 3 examples. First is this Group 1 at Spa. I think it was 10th lap. Yeah, it was 10th in the world at the time I set this lap, so I think it's a good reference to be used in this guide. So I will try to explain a few points where I trail brake and how I trail brake, and also what I do and what I don't. So mainly trail braking is a process of slowly reducing the braking while you start to steer into the corners, and I will show you a few examples right here. So let's get going. So this thing is quite interesting. braking in the straight line. So I always mention in my videos, try to brake in the straight line. And once you get steering, so once you get that steering input, slowly reduce the braking inputs. You can see me going in here. So 50% of the steering, and I was about, you cannot always be at 50% of the braking, so approximately I was at 50% of the braking. And once you fully turn the wheel in each direction, so this time I was 90 degrees to the right, I completely released my braking. So that is trail braking. While you start to steer in, just try to slowly reduce the braking, and so the braking entry into the corner. The weight really shifts to the front of the car, and you get much better traction of the car, and the car eventually becomes much more stable, and you get much better lap times and overall speeds through the corners. Let's go fast through this one. You can see me going in here. Not a lot of trail braking going. Slowing down this footage, really going in, and immediately start accelerating out once you get as close as possible to the curb. Is not usually the case, but I like to maximize my exit speeds as much as I possibly can. So guys, let's jump into our next example. And we are currently at Monza, so this time we are in Group 3, and I'll show you a few things I have to keep in mind while trail braking. So braking at 150, braking in the straight line, as you can see me here using a little bit of trail braking. Just again, tap on the brakes on the exit can help you boost your lap times, but this was another example of a good trail braking. So you can see my ghost, I was maybe even a tenth or maybe even tenth and a half in front just by using trail braking and abusing those track limits as much as I possibly could. So let's go on to our last example, where I show you once again at Yamagiwa, with which we had last week. So guys, let's go. First thing I want to mention here is not using more than 50% of the braking. So 50% of the braking and really trail braking all along. So you can see me here hugging the inside of that curb and really staying on that braking for really not a long time, but I was trail braking and maybe using 10 to 20% of the braking at a time. So I found that was super important at Yamagiwa and got me a lot of time in the end. So I think this was one of the best things that I noted on Yamagiwa, not using then more than 50% of the braking and really using and minimizing. So it's not really maximizing the trail braking, so minimizing that braking input, not using more than 10 to 20%, and getting that decent lap time. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I try to keep it as short as I possibly could. I don't like those long videos that last for half an hour just trying to explain the same thing that I can probably make in just a few minutes. So guys, yeah, if you like the video, please smash that like button, and also I opened my Patreon account. You can see the link down below. If you feel like you want to support me, just go buy me a cup of coffee if you want. So guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.